Myanmar's anti-coup protesters are ramping up efforts to boycott the military. This time, there's a new tactic, a non-cooperation campaign. Protesters are calling for people to stop paying electricity bills and agricultural loans. They're also urging parents to stop sending their children to school. The new strategy comes after an agreement was struck between ASEAN leaders and military chief Min Aung Hlaing. The deal agrees to end the violence in Myanmar. But protesters are not happy. They say it lacks a clear timeline and falls short of holding the military accountable for the deaths of hundreds of civilians.
British Iranian aid worker Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe has been sentenced to another year in jail by an Iranian court. Zaghari-Ratcliffe had been released from prison in March after serving 5 years on charges of plotting against the government. Well, her latest jail term comes from a new charge of spreading propaganda against Iran. She and her family have always denied the allegations against her.
The reason why we're here is because it's here that Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe's alleged offence is supposed to have taken place. 2009, in anti-government protests here outside the Iranian embassy, Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe participated in protests and gave an interview to BBC Persian. And now, 12 years on, the Iranians have decided to prosecute her for this.
Turkey deployed soldiers to Iraq's Metina and Avasin Basyan regions. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says operations Claw Lightning and Claw Thunderbolt aim to eliminate terrorist threats along Turkey's southern borders. The PKK terror group has bases in the region from where it launches attacks on Turkey.
With Alexei Navalny behind bars, the Russian state is now going after his anti-corruption foundation, today starting the process of calling it an extremist organization. But there's no escaping the fact that this would deal a death blow to the organization that Navalny set up. Labeling Navalny's organization extremist would put it in the same category as Al-Qaeda or, bizarrely in Russia, the Jehovah's Witnesses. It would mean that the organizers and supporters, and this is a crowd-funded organization, might be liable for long jail terms for supposedly organizing or financing extremist activity. And the whole process will be classified because the state deems what Navalny's foundation has been up to as a state secret.
Palestinians celebrated as police barriers came down outside Jerusalem's Damascus Gate Sunday night, allowing them access to a square that's a popular meeting place during the holy month of Ramadan. Thousands filled the East Jerusalem plaza, many waving Palestinian flags. Scuffles broke out, however, as Israeli police waded into the crowd to confiscate the flags. Clashes in the holy city followed the start of Ramadan nearly 2 weeks ago. Protesters threw stones at police in riot gear, who tried to disperse them using horses and foul-smelling water. Anger also spilled into the West Bank over the Israeli police decision to prevent crowds from gathering outside of the historic Damascus Gate.
Labor Union Solidarity has sent government a list of more than 120 competent and willing South African engineers who can replace the 24 Cuban engineers who've been hired by the Human Settlements Department. The engineers are to assist with solving water infrastructure issues. Solidarity has also started a legal process against Human Settlements, demanding that the program be suspended until it's determined that the engineers meet the legal requirements to work in South Africa. In 2020, government brought in more than 200 Cuban health professionals, mostly doctors, to the country at a cost of over 400 million rand to help in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic.
At the very latest on reaction from Spain to the death of those 2 Spanish hostages, let's bring in our Madrid correspondent, Sarah Morris. Sarah, what more can you tell us?
Jeannie, the Spanish government has not confirmed the deaths of the 2 Spaniards or of anyone else believed to have been injured or captured during that attack in Burkina Faso. The foreign minister is currently speaking at the weekly government press conference, and we expect her to make a statement about Burkina Faso. For the moment, what we can see is that a security force source is being quoted by ANP news agency as saying that those journalists, 2 Spanish journalists and an Irish citizen, working for a conservation organisation, that they are feared dead.
As protests over the police killing of Andrew Brown Jr. continue, his family members were allowed to watch a snippet of police body camera video showing Brown being shot repeatedly. Brown was killed on April 21st in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, by police serving a drug-related arrest warrant. The killing sparked days of protests. His relatives and their attorneys say Brown posed no threat to officers as he tried to leave the scene in his vehicle.
Задний левый зафиксирован.